All right, Miss Counter says, let's work through this one together. So this must be, she's having me do the actual problem. So this video is to help you with number 5 on CR Helper number 29, and it must match your actual number 5 on your CR. Let's take a look. David's car used 8 gallons of gas to travel 380 miles. After bringing it to a mechanic, it used 7 gallons of gas to travel 420 miles. If the price of gasoline was $3.50 per gallon for each gallon, how much less to the nearest cent per mile did it cost to run the car after the mechanic worked on it? Okay. Well, we know it took us 8 gallons to go 380 miles. What we really care is, because we want cent per mile, we want to know how much money we spent to go 380 miles. So the first thing we need to figure out is converting 8 gallons, if you know it's $3.50 per gallon. So the first gallon is $3.50, the next gallon is $3.50, the gallon after that is $3.50. So to figure out the cost for 8 gallons of gas, because we're given number of gallons and they want cent per mile, so they want money per mile. So first I have to do is I got to figure out 8 gallons, how much is it going to cost? And the cost for 8 gallons, well, as I said, our first gallon's $3.50, our next gallon's at $3.50, so you're repeatedly paying $3.50 8 times. So what you would do is $3.50 times 8. That'll give me my cost for 8 gallons of gas, and then I'll know how much money it costs to travel 380 miles. All right, first of all, I like to estimate. So $3.50, I'm going to say, is about 4. 4 times 8, my final answer needs to be somewhere around $32. So let's figure out if that's what it actually ends up being, somewhere close to that. Less than that, because this is only 3.5, but 350 times 8. 8 times 0 is 0. 8 times 5 is 40. Put down a 0, carry a 4. 8 times 3 is 24. 24 and 4 more is 28. 8 times 3 is 24 and 4 more is 28. I know my final answer is somewhere around 32. Oh, it must be $28 for 8 gallons. And of course, you know, if this decimal moves over 2 places in the final answer, it moves over 2 places. But I like to do my decimal placement through estimation. So it's $28 for 8 gallons. But I care how many cents per mile. So if I know it's $28 for 8 gallons, I know it costs $28 of gas, to travel 380 miles. So let's do money per miles, because they care about how many cents per 1 mile. And then our money per miles. So we just figured out it costs $28 to go 380 miles. And we're asking how much does it cost to go just 1 mile. We don't know the cost for just 1 mile. But what we do see, I got to get from 380 down to 1. Oh goodness, I got to divide this by 380. Which means I got to take 28 and, oh goodness, divide by 380. Wow. 28 divided by 380. It's going to be a teeny tiny number. So we're going to take 380 into 28. Make sure you put your decimal point after the 28. Drag that decimal point up. How many times does 380 go into 28? Oh gosh, 0 times. And then after our, on the inside of our division box, we can add zeros after the decimal point and not change the value. So then I say 380 goes into 280. Oh no, that's still 0 times. 0 times 380 is 0. And again, you just ignore that decimal point when we're actually doing our division here. But I can add another 0 here, not change a thing. So now I say 380 into 2,800. Well, I think of this as, I would say like 3 into 28 goes about 9 times. I'm gonna try an 8 here. I don't know that 8's going to be correct, but I'm gonna take 380. I think it's gonna be way too high. Let's just try it though. 380 times 8. I'm just guesstimating. 8 times 0 is 0. 8 times 8 is 64. Put down a 4, carry a 6. 8 times 3 is 24, and 6 more is 30. Yeah, I mean, it's not terribly high, but it's too high. The 8 is too high. So now I'll try 7 maybe. So I'll take 380 times 7. 0, 8 times 7 is 56. Put down a 6, carry a 5. 7 times 3 is 21, and 5 is 26. All right. So this gets me 7. 7 times 380, I figured out, was 2660. I'm going to subtract off. Let me erase some of this excess here. No wonder Miss Connor wanted me to go through this problem with you. This is a complicated problem, I think. Okay, so now 0 minus 0 is 0. But here's the issue. We can't take 6 from 0. We actually have to borrow. That 8 becomes a 7. This becomes a 10. 10 minus 6 is 4. 7 minus 6 is 1. 2 minus 2 is 0. So now I can drag down an extra 0. How many times 380 goes into 400? Well, I'm going to say 1400. I'm going to say 380 is about 400. 4 times 3 gets me to 12. I'm going to try 380 times 4. 0 times 0 is 0. 8 times 4 is 32. Put down a 2, carry a 3. 4 times 3 is 12. And 3 more is 15. No, 4 is too high. Okay, let's try 3. 380 times 3. 0. 8 times 3 is 24. Put down a 4, carry a 2. 3 times 3 is 9, 10, 11. So that's 1140. So this is 1140. I'm not going to go out any further than this. I'll explain why in a minute, because we're talking money here. So this was somewhere between 7 cents and 8 cents. This is 7 cents, about 7 cents per mile. 0, got to borrow, make that a 3. 10 minus 4 is 6. 3 minus 1 is 2. Okay, so what I'm seeing here, I only went out this far. How much less to the nearest cent per mile did it cost to run the car? So it cost, prior to getting the car fixed, if you have 0.073, your question is this closer to 7 cents or 8 cents? Well, that 3 tells us it's much closer to 7 cents. So before the car got fixed, it was about 7 cents per mile. It cost that driver about 7 cents per mile to run that car. Now we got to figure out how much it costs to run that car after the car got fixed, and then we'll have to do a subtraction to figure out how much less. My concern here is the fact that we're rounding already. I hope your teachers want you to round now and not wait till the very end. But I'm not positive. We'll find out. Okay, so now I got to figure out the cost of 7 gallons. So now I got to do the same process, but with 7 gallons. So the cost of 7 gallons. Well, you know it's $3.50 each gallon. We're going to buy 7 gallons. 7 times 3 is 21. 7 times, I'm just estimating. So 3.5 is about 3 or 4. So 7 times 3 is 21. 7 times 4 is 28. My answer is going to be somewhere between 21 and 28. That just helps me with my decimal placement. 7 times 0 is 0. 7 times 5 is 35. Put down a 5, carry a 3. 7 times 3 is 21, and 3 more is 24. And I knew my final answer was going to be somewhere between 21 and 28, so 2450 makes sense. Again, decimal point over 2 places, so in the final answer is over 2 places. So now again, we have to do money to miles. This is cost equals money to miles. And I care about how many cents per 1 mile. So I'm given it's going to cost me $24.50 to travel how many miles? 7 gallons was $24.50. So it cost $24.50 to travel 420 miles. And my question is, how much would it cost to travel just 1 mile? So this go around, we got to divide by 420. Wowza. Which means I have to take my $24.50 and divide by 420. So I'm going to do that division. Now keep in mind, I'm erasing because I need some space. But you remember that first go around, it was 7 cents per mile. Now after the car gets fixed, let's see how much it costs to travel a mile. I'm going to take $24.50 and divide it by 420. 420 goes into $24.50. Again, drag that decimal point right up, and then you can just ignore it as we're doing the division inside the box. 420 goes into 24 0 times. 420 goes into 245 0 times. So that's 0, subtract off. We still have 245. Drag down that 0. Now I have to say 420 into 2,450. Well, it's about 400. 4 times 6 is 24. I'm going to try 5. I'm going to try 420 times 5. See what happens. I'm just estimating. This is what when I look at this and I say 2450, I pretend this number is about just 4. And I say how many times does 4 go into 24? It goes in 6 times. I'm going to go a little lower than that. It's just my strategy for estimating what value to try up here. 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 2 is 10. Put down a 0, carry a 1. 5 times 4 is 20, and 1 is 21. Let me see, what would 6 get? Well, that's already 21. 400 more would get us to 25. So 5 was the correct number to try. Ooh, it's only going to be about 5 or 6 cents per mile. All right, so this is 2100. We're going to subtract off 0. 5 minus 0 is 5. 4 minus 1 is 3. And 2 minus 2 is 0. Now we're going to drag down an additional 0. So I have to do 420 into 3,500. And this is the last place I have to go out to because it's money. So it's either close to 5 cents or 6 cents. Let's find out. So how many times does 4 go into 35? 4 times 8 is 32. I'm going to try 420. Let's try times 8. I think that's going to be too high, but 0. 4 times 2 is 16. Put down a 6, carry a 1. 8 times 4 is 32. Oh, no, it's not going to be too high. 8 times 4 is 32, and 1 is 33. 0, 16, 32. Okay, good. Oh, that's 8. All right. So we get 33.60. This is as far out as we have to go because we're rounding. So is this closer to 5 cents or 6 cents? Well, that's closer to 6 cents. So in this case, it's about, 6 cents for 1 mile. And then they say how much less? Well, we were paying 7 cents per mile. Now we're paying 6 cents per mile. 7 cents minus 6 cents, it is, right? 7 cents before is how much you were paying before you got it fixed. Now you're only paying 6 cents per mile. You're saving yourself about a penny per mile. Now, mind you, if the teachers don't have you round first, they want you to wait and round at the end, the answer could be a little bit different. I feel like, let me just check something. 0.073 minus 0.058. I just want to check something. Before I round, I think there was a 3 at the end here. I hope I'm right. I already erased all that work. So here, if I was going to do 7, that goes to 6. 13 minus 8 is 5. 6 minus 5 is 1. 0 minus 0 is 0. Here's the problem. If the teacher has you wait till the end, sorry, there's a 1 there. If the teacher has you wait to the end to round, then it looks like you're saving actually 2 cents per mile. This is the way to go through the problem, but my issue is you're going to have to talk to your teacher, and you're going to have to say, do you want us to wait till the end to round? If so, you're going to find out you're actually saving about 2 cents per mile instead.